Hi. If you have signed up for a private consult, then sleep study is something we're going to ask you to be doing. This video is to explain to you how you're supposed to do the sleep study. So you're going to need a piece of paper and you're going to be writing the time that you wake up in the morning and the time that your dog goes to bed at night, and then record the number of hours for the nighttime sleep in the middle. And then you will have 4 columns. I will give close-ups of this. First column is going to be for sleep, second for resting, third for moderately active, and the fourth one for highly active. The way this works is that I want total number of hours in each column at the bottom. That's the information that I require. So how are you going to record this is you're going to look at your dog and you're going to observe your dog for that whole day. If your weekdays and weekends are very different, then you might want to do one weekday and one weekend and do an average of both before you submit the results. When your dog is asleep, they're lying down, their eyes are closed and they're asleep. It's not hard to figure out when that's happening. So you write down the time that your dog fell asleep and you put an end time in that column, saying 9 o'clock to 9:30, the dog was asleep. But when the dog wakes up at 9:30, what column does he fall in? Is he just still lying around or sitting and stretching, maybe grooming themselves, just resting? So then that will fall into the resting. So at 9:30, resting starts. And as long as the dog continues to rest and not really do anything, your resting period will continue. When the dog sort of gets up and starts doing things, and it is a calm movement, or it is sitting and chewing on a toy, or you've given your dog a bone and they're sitting and chewing on that, that would be a moderately active activity. If your dog is eating their food or just walking from one room to another, but not really doing very, exerting themselves or doing very hyperactive behavior, that's going to come under moderately active. Your walks, if they are calm and quiet and full of sniffing, and they're not really very hyper and a lot of pulling is going on, not a lot of running is going on, then your walks also come into a moderately active activity. And anything else that involves hyper activity or highly active movement, like running, zoomies, playing, fetch, tug of war, any kind of movement or running, barking, jumping, all of those are going to be highly active movements, and those get recorded as well. Even if it is about 5 or 6 minutes, when somebody comes home and the dog is extremely hyper for 5 or 7 minutes, record that, because it's all going to add up. At the end of that exercise, you take your sleeping column, you look at all the number of minutes that you have, add them up, and then divide them into hours, and you might get something like 6 hours and 10 minutes. That's your total. For resting, you do the same for moderately active and highly active, and then you give those number of hours for each segment. That's how the sleep study is done.